All right, folks, we are live. It is time for another Sunday show with DJ Elf7 and one of the most knowledgeable people in the game, New York City politics, Christopher Leon Johnson. Once again, we are being honored to have him here with us today. So, oh my goodness, primaries ended and things slowed down, but oh my goodness, things are still hot. So, things are still on fire. So, there's some things that have come up as a result of this. And I had some, words with Christopher just before the show because, we're starting to talk about some deeper subjects. We're starting to know each other a little bit longer now. We even lost track. I think, how long have we been doing this show for? Maybe like a couple months now, or maybe even...
almost like 3-4 months.
It'll be a year before you know it. It'll be a year before you know it.
16 episodes, the 16th episode. I believe you put 15 videos or
something like that, yeah.
Episode, it's 4 months.
It'll be it'll be a year before you know it. And the fact of the matter is that, you can't just get to know a person by the things that they say. You got to just really spend time with them and really get to really see how they act over time, right? So, we're going to find out more about other people that, and he's going to get to find out more about me too, and the other things that I'm working on. So that's cool. Very excited about this this dive into, now that the primary's over, we can sit down and share some of our deeper thoughts. So one of the things I think I led the thumbnail with talking about, now this is something that I don't really know so much about, really. Christopher is much more informed on this. Thank God I have someone like Chris on board that I could bounce these things off of, right? He was very helpful once again. He's participated with Guy Brewer Club, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, Democratic club in the city, and was able to provide good advice to my man, Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell. And I, once again, recommend anybody thinking about running for a position in New York City. I know he doesn't actually advertise himself as a consultant. If I was running for anything, I would just call up Chris. I would send Christopher Leon Johnson an email and say, look, I'd like to spend some time with you. Just ask what you think about, my district, other candidates, and also want to shout out Dion, who we also both know. Anyways, so Justin Brannan, apparently something's going on with City Councilman Justin Brannan. What's going on, bro?
Oh, so happy July 9th, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's going to rain in New York City later on. So let's start from the top of the hour. Happy Sunday, everybody. So Justin Brannan is a councilman for the District 47. Now is the all new District 47 for 2023 redistricting. So current council member, he's going against the other council member, Ari Kagan. So basically that district is the 47th district that covers Dyker Heights, Bay Ridge, Coney Island, Bath Beach, Seagate, and it's a lot of areas, but mainly the big core is Coney Island and Bay Ridge. So it's gonna be a big battle. So prepare that for November. So what's going on with Justin Brannan is a person that is affiliated with his club. She's part of, she currently works for the Speaker Adrian Adams' office as communication. She does like digital media for Speaker Adrian Adams. So with Ember, her name is Ember. On Twitter, it's called Embernique. Twitter at EMBRNIC. That's her Twitter account. EMBERNIC. So recently what's going on is she got in some controversy because of her prior tweets from 2020 during the Black Lives Matter movement, calling for the burning of NYPD police bands and some other innuendo related to July 4th. Basically anything that's related to the anti-NYPD talk she had in 2020, they unearthed her tweets. Those tweets was been out within the political circles, but nobody cared. The only people that really cared now is the New York Post. So with Ember, her pastor, she is a member of the Bay Ridge Dems. It's a powerful political club in Bay Ridge. It's like the de facto Democratic club in Bay Ridge. It's ran by Justin Brannan and Chris McCrate. And she got hired by Justin Brannan. She was basically his former staffer. So usually what happens within like any political spectrum is you could be a staffer for like Lynn Shulman, and then you could go be a staffer for Jumaane Williams. So now everybody's trying to get rid of Justin Brannan. The Republican Party, conservatives, the moderates, they trying to get rid of Justin Brannan because of what he's doing. So they put that article out against her to get at Brannan. So Brannan is real silent about the situation, and they calling for Brannan to fire Ember. Now the issue is, only thing Brannan can really do is call out saying, well, I condemn what she said, and she should resign. Brandon's being real silent about that. And that's why everybody's getting mad at him. The only person who can really fire her is the speaker. because she worked for the speaker. But even if she worked for Brannan, right? If she, let's say, hypothetically, she worked for her, if her was employed for Justice Brannan's office, Brannan could get rid of her, or the speaker can get rid of her. Now, there was a situation recently before a long time ago where there was like in the 2000s, there was a staffer for, I think it was Charles Barron, who said some disparaging words about Leroy Comrie. That time, Leroy Comrie was a council member. And the speaker at that time, which was, I think it was Christine Quinn, fired a staffer. It wasn't, the staffer didn't work for Christine Quinn, the staffer worked for Charles Barron. But because the speaker had the right to fire anybody, any staffer, any council member, she decided to fire the staffer because she got a Leroy, that time, council member Leroy Comrie. So everything falls in Speaker Adams' hand. Now, there's going to be a big issue with this because the Speaker, A.J. Adams, is a type of speaker that takes no shit, right? She's not scared of anybody. But the thing about it is she had to protect Brannan. It's about protecting Brannan. And because I think Ember has so much stuff on Justin Brannan, I don't think that he want that out if they get rid of her, if she decided to get rid of Ember. Because if that could ruin her career if Adams fires her. Now, if she feels that she's been scorned, like any woman, she could come out with certain things about Justin Brannan, and he might get in big trouble. It might be criminal, it might be civil, it might be forced to resign. You never know. So I don't think they're going to risk this. I mean, with this, they're going to probably hope this gets spread under. This goes away. This goes away slowly or quickly, and they move on with that. You know.
Hey, quick question. So the thing is that the primaries just happened. Did certain people winning or not winning empower this attack on Brannan to, you think, go down?
I think a lot of people really want this guy to go down. There's a lot of people in the 47th Republican primary that want this guy to go, but there's a community that's really against Justin Brannan. That's the situation. That's the issue right now. Is a community that's against Justin Brannan.
Interesting.
Because of the stuff he's doing to Bay Ridge.
When's the next election for him? Is his election coming up?
Yeah, his election coming up November 7th. He's fighting for their life right now. So,
who do you think? Okay, so you said Ari Kagan is going against him.
Yeah, Ari Kagan is the incumbent. It's two incumbents to be exact. So Kagan district is Coney Island, and Brannan district is Bay Ridge. So my prediction is whoever can pull off Coney Island will win the race because Bay Ridge is really against Brannan. Now, the thing about Bay Ridge, and this is why, like I said, if you don't understand about my political thing, Bay Ridge, and especially the Muslim vote, like the Palestinians like that, the Muslim vote, they can be really shifty how they vote. Now, with Brannan, he's banking on the Arab Association of New York. He's banking on all those Arab and Palestinian affiliate organizations to help pull off Bay Ridge.
Okay.
Because he's not going to win the white vote. He's not going to win. He might win some black votes in Bay Ridge, but he's banking on that Muslim vote to bring it home in Bay Ridge, because he hopes that let's say if there's a low voter turnout, and this is going to be a challenge with Ari Kagan, as much as everybody in the 47th district, let's say in Bay Ridge, doesn't like Brannan, if he cannot get those people out there to vote, but Brannan can get that certain amount of precincts to be covered in Bay Ridge, especially certain the black voters in Coney Island, he might win on a margin. Brannan might win on a margin because that's how it might go out with the precincts. Because Brannan will do anything for that black vote. He will do anything for the Latino vote. And he will do anything to make sure that he secures those Muslim voters. You know, the white vote, they're not going to vote for the guy. The white vote is real astute to the guy. They're not voting for him. So he's praying the guy that the white votes don't really come out more than the Arab and black voters. You know what I'm saying? Because the white vote come out, he's going to lose. So that's the thing.
Yeah, I remember the Italian community is also strong down there, right? Yeah.
Real strong. And I don't think they're going to vote for Brannan because they mad. They upset the crime. The crime is the problem. Crime is a big issue in Bay Ridge.
I used to be in that neighborhood, so I know about that neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to be on down by 68th Street. Yeah, on Fifth Ave.
Yeah.
So what's up? You know what I mean? What's up? If you remember me from the hood, that was a long time ago. But there's a really banging. One of my favorite pizza spots is down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, one day we should go there. That guy's actually a master chef. I call him. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a few of them. Anyways, so look, there's actually this is interesting because I know that also the Chinese community is also decent sized in Bay Ridge. It's not like overwhelming. The Chinese Brooklyn Chinatown is near there, right? Quite close. And the thing is, let's take a look at that other race with was it Yiatin in Brooklyn, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She won the Republican primary, so props out to her. You know, I'm an Asian American, pioneer. I appreciate that. But actually, it seems like there's a sizable portion that's running another candidate. Is Yiatin somehow like endangering, or some? Why is she? Why do they not like Yiatin? What happened?
All right. So what's going on is the 43rd race is a all new district. It's been created. Basically, the point where the 43rd district was created for Yiatin. That was done by Justin Brannan and Andrew Gundaris to create.
I'm sorry.
That was so the issue was in 2022. Andrew Gundaris and the Senate Majority Leader, they designed a district in Brooklyn called the District 17 for Iwan Chu. So Iwan won her primary unopposed because they knocked off Andrew Gundaris knocked off Yu Lin, who ran against Alexa Libas in 2021, and they think that Yu Lin was going to beat Iwan Chu because Yu Lin has a lot of votes. Yu Lin has a lot of clout. Yu Lin is well known, especially with Andrew Yang. So they knocked off Yu Lin off the ballot because Andrew Gundaris is people knocked off and Yu Lin off the ballot. So Iwan ran unopposed. So Iwan won her primary unopposed. Vito Labella won his primary unopposed. Now what happened with Vito Labella was running the 26th district against Andrew Gundaris versus what's his name? Karim, some pilot guy, ex-cop. So they did the maps over. Kareem got knocked out the 26th district. Kareem didn't want to run anymore. And Vito Labella got knocked out the 26th district. He didn't want to run anymore. So when Vito sold the all-new district, he decided to run in the all-new 17th district against Iwan Chu unopposed. So in the general election, Vito lost his election to Iwan Chu by 400 votes. He lost by a small margin, by 400 votes. So going forward this year, 2023, which is the all-new 43rd district, was covered Bensonhurst, a little part of Bay Ridge, but main core is Bensonhurst, the Asian district. A lot of Chinese voters over there. So Justin Brannan and Andrew Gundaris, they did the maps and to make the district all designed for Yiatin. That's why they forced her to run. They forced Yiatin to run for city council. They put the machine behind her. And, so you have the Democratic primary. She ran against Susan Wong and Stanley Neag, and she lost on a landslide. So now Susan Wong is now the Democratic primary nominee to go against the other two that we're going to talk about right now, about in the 43rd race. So what's going on is Vito Labella ran against Yiatin in the Republican primary. Vito Labella already had the Conservative Party's endorsement, so he won his primary unopposed for the Conservative primary. So he didn't have to run a conservative race.
Yeah.
So
hold on a second, yeah. You should, if you're going to your spot, you should turn off the camera so you don't dox yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah, okay, myself like that. So Yiatin ran against Vito Labella in the primary, and she won her election by a margin. She didn't win it on a landslide. She won it about 20 votes, 20, 30 votes.
Yeah.
So 1 second. Get back to my house. Sorry, okay. Yeah, I don't want to dock myself.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired. Walk up the stairs like that, so.
Yeah, you never know, right? Yeah, so.
1 minute.
Anyways, yeah, so look, I'm going to keep talking for a moment, yeah?
Yeah.
While my dude goes off for a second. So the thing is that I really appreciate his his take on this. And one thing, I think he's still listening, hopefully. So the thing is that before we started, I asked these Democrats and Republicans. He knows about the activism that I do for public housing, for trying to stop violence, at drag queen story hours, and also what is it? Just also helping Reverend Keith Gass and Nolan Farrell, which he personally got involved with, I think recently, which I really appreciate. That was so cool. Also has footage that was very important for some of my video work regarding covering that case. Anyways, so the thing is that these Democrats and Republicans, they're not really picking up this issue, and how can we really trust any of these candidates when it seems that they're really just more concerned about talking about and much love out to the Republicans recently. They've been doing a lot more work with me. I know that they're happy that I can point out the hypocrisy of the Democrats and stuff like that. And right now you guys are talking about the pizza stuff, and I'm not mad about that. You know what I mean? I get where it's frustrating, and I have a lot of pizza places that I love. You know what I mean? But we've been working on this Reverend Keith Gass and Nolan Farrell issue for years, and we're still waiting. So when y'all done with the pizza, you know what I mean? If y'all could really, shed light on what is actually some in-party Democrat Party, collusion and denial of justice, that would be great for anybody. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, whoever is ready to help, ready to take that help. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you for. I just want to say that while Christopher is just off air, randomizing his position. Also,
all right, so yeah,
go ahead,
I'm back. I'm kind of I just came back to my house, did some stuff in my house. So
okay.
yeah, sorry, I'm coming. Sorry, it's a little hot, so I'm gonna take my shorts. So yeah, so going forward, everybody. So what happened recently was with Yiatin. So Democratic. So the Republican primary, Yiatin won over Yiatin Blvd by I think 50, 60 votes. So she didn't win on a good margin. Yeah. She won on a close one, a Republican primary. So the reason she won was because there was a few because her first and last name, and there's a lot of Asian voters that are Republican, so they probably voted because of her name. I don't think they knew who she was. They just saw it's an Asian name, so they voted for her. This happens a lot with people with who have Jewish last names and Muslim last names. They'll just get the vote because they're Muslim. It's just what it is. Okay. So now what's going on with this is Vito, when he ran against Yiatin in the Republican primary, he got backed by the Brooklyn GOP. Not only got backed by the Brooklyn GOP, he got backed by a lot of prominent figures of the Brooklyn Republican Party, just such as Congressmember Nicole Malliotakis, such as former State Senator Marty Golden, mainly those two, and it's a lot of other people that backed him to run against Yiatin. So the Brooklyn Republican machine backed up Blvd, and mainly all the people that really have their little issues with the Brooklyn Democratic, with the Brooklyn Republican Party backed up Yiatin. Now the thing is, what's going on is the Republican. So since Vito, he saw that he was in striking distance of beating Yiatin in the Republican primary. Now with and then she won against, and then he got the conservative nomination. They will both tell each other to drop out the race. Vito was telling Yiatin to drop out and give the Republican line to him because he felt that he could beat Susan's mom. And then Yiatin told Vito to give his conservative part because she could beat Susan. So now with Vito in the race, because I think Vito and none of them decided to give the statement declination so they can give the party to the other person. Now there's a three-way race. Vito Blvd, he's not like these other people that just hoard party lines. He's not a placeholder. He's a serious person. He's a serious candidate. Vito been at a lot of these fights. Especially with the anti-CRT rallies, the affirmative action, the vaccine mandates. He's been at a lot of these fights, and especially public safety, because Vito is a retired cop. Vito is not a bad person. Vito just has to really start being more sincere about his views, because in 2020, he was meeting with the Brooklyn Democratic Party. he was around the Brooklyn Democratic Party, especially at the endorsement of Gary Cornegie, and Justice Brannan was there. They were both there. Brannan and Cornegie was being endorsed by the Brooklyn Democratic Party. So he has to, and he had a lot of views about Black Lives Matter, but then he switched up in 2021. Now people confront him about that, and he has an issue of like blocking people when you bring it up. He should be more sincere about his views, about his prior views in 2020. You know, that's my thing with him. People gonna start telling this guy that. Now going forward, the reason Yiatin's getting mad because she think that he gonna split the vote because Vito lives in Brooklyn. As much as Vito shitted on Brooklyn, I think it was bad for him to do that in 2020 in a video that he shitted on New York City. I think it was real bad he do that. Vito lives in Brooklyn. I think he lives in Dyker Heights, and but that's outside the district. While Susan Zhuang lives in the district. She lives in Bensonhurst. Yiatin lives in Queens. She lives in Regal Park. So that's why everybody's getting mad. She's getting mad because she's scared of people bringing that up. Like, wait a minute, you're from Regal Park. You're not even from Brooklyn. You don't even live in Brooklyn. You're from Regal Park. So why you want to serve in Brooklyn? That's what happened with why you chant. Like, wait a minute, you are from Regal. You're from Flushing. Why are you running in a race in Brooklyn? Should you be running in the race in Flushing? Flushing, that's ran by Sandra Ung. Sandra Ung is not doing certain things correctly as a council member. She's real silent about the street vendors. She's siding with the big business over the street vendors. They get mad about that. It's just a lot of things going on. She's silent about especially crime. She's not really astute to crime. So it's just like, wait a minute, if you have a problem in your district, won't you run against Susan Sandra Ung? So, but she decided to run the 43rd district because they forced her to run. Now with Yiatin, who was a Republican nominee, people might start questioning on that. Like, why are you running in Brooklyn? You're from Regal Park.
So I looked up Yiatin's positions, and she seems to be pretty standard Republican. She doesn't seem to be like any like really out there with her positions. Maybe I'm wrong, but what do you like? Is it because she's new? Like, why is she won the primary, right? So why is she? I understand what you're saying. Like, Victor's like done things, but what about Yiatin? Does she have any background or history?
I don't know about her background. It just like I think people think she's new. She's not really out there. It like she came out of nowhere, and she just came out of nowhere, and she's going against a guy that actually put his face out there. As much people might not like Vito, but he actually put his face out there. He actually was at those fights, and they feel that he's a threat to them because Vito is going to be backed by Yiatin Chu. Yiatin Chu was one of the main people that got Lester Chang into city council to state assembly or Pete Abity Jr. While Lester, and the thing about Lester Chang, and this is why everybody feels so conflicted, because I think Lester Chang is going to stay out that race, because what's going on is the people that work for Lester Chang, they are backing Yiatin. They're backing Yiatin. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, wait a second. I was like, yeah, me and Yiatin, I actually have questions about that one. But I think that they're both actually part of the Asian Wave Alliance, are they not?
Yeah, they both are. So what's going on?
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting too.
What's up with that? The people that was working for Lester Chang, the staffers that work for Lester Chang, they're backing Yiatin. They were backing Yiatin over Vito LaBella. Now with Yiatin Chu, she's gonna mostly back Vito LaBella because Vito LaBella co-founded Place with Yiatin Chu and Morton Marin. Now Place NYC is mainly a parent-based organization. They fight for anti-CRT and affirmative action, anything with education. That's them. That's Place NYC. So what's going to mostly happen is Vito LaBella will get the Place NYC endorsement. It carries some weight, help some people win their races. He's going to get a lot of media attention because of Morton Marin, and there's other people that is part of Place NYC that can get the media out, especially with Morton Marin, because Morton Marin I love Morton Marin. She's controversial. So that's why everybody's getting mad about, because they know Yiatin Chu is going to back up Vito LaBella because they got a long history. They got a long back history. That's what happened in 2022 with the NY10. Now, Marin ran in NY10 against all the other guys, but there was another person that raced that was named what's his name? There was a person in the race named some Asian guy, Asian veteran guy.
Do you think?
Let me go to my.
Yeah. Do you think Ying Tan's really kind of like a creation of the Asian Wave Alliance? Do you think that Yatin is really behind
I
Ying
don't.
Tan?
I don't think so. I don't really think so. I don't know about that. That's not my. I don't. I can't. I'm not. I can't die because I don't know anything about that. I'm just being 100% honest with you about that. Um, but I don't think so. I
Because
mean,
I
that's
see
why.
Yatin making a lot. Like I know Yatin a lot more for her moves than than Ying Tan. So, but I looked her up. It says that she has some work with senior centers. I think senior centers are heavily under democratic, not-for-profit control. So
Yeah.
that's interesting that she volunteers there. I've also volunteered at senior center, so that's pretty cool. But we have to see, those are also big time political control. There's multiple things going on there, multiple, you know, um, the new city department for the aging, department for the homeless, department for the of health.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover with a lot of people getting government funding money that's intersecting on senior citizens, right? Uh,
So
yeah,
you're right. So the first name is Yang Zong is start Yan. Last name was Ixiong. So that's his name. She ran
now,
against him.
I remember you said that before there was like someone named Jenny Jam Low who's like doing a lot of business right here. Do you think that she's actually this is like a new set though? Like they're completely you think she's completely separate from that particular crew?
Yeah, I think she is. She is.
Interesting.
She really is because place like because they backed up they backed up um they backed up what's her name? They backed
Lester is
up.
also part of Lester Chang is also part of Asian Wave Alliance, is he
Yeah,
not?
he's been part of them. Like
Yes,
Lester Chang been part of them. So
exactly.
well, for the
Okay.
third race, I think Lester's going to stay out that race. I think Lester's going to stay neutral.
Cool.
He's going to stay out because Vito used to work for Lester. Vito helped Lester get a state assembly. There's a lot of people in that 43rd race that helped Lester get in state assembly. So I think Lester's going to stay out. They might try to ask Lester to throw some support. I think Lester's going to break it to them publicly and say, "I'm staying out the race. I don't. He don't want another part of it, you know, because it just that race is too. It's going to be too controversial. So, I mean, it's real controversial now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They don't want Susan Swan to win. I love Susan. I mean, I love Susan, man. Like it's the thing about with me and my conflicted. I'm being conflicted because I love Susan. You know, I love all three of them. I don't hate not one of them. You
Okay.
know, so it just like they gotta fight. I mean, whoever want to win, they gotta prove they want to win. That's my thing right now. You know,
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, just interesting to see how these races are breaking down. I think I I personally want them to support the nominee. I think just they already had an opportunity to prove themselves in the fight, and I get where Vitor's making his play, and he has enough juice behind him, and I get where Power is going to move like that. So, but just my personal take is just that's just how I see it. I mean, it's
mm-hmm.
all good though. Whatever. I do want to find out more about this Asian Wave Alliance, so we'll be following up on that. Now, another thing that you were actually involved in recently was you talked about somehow Sandy Nurse something is going on. What's going on with that?
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna tell this right now. Get my headphones in a little.
By the way, I
Tired.
applied recently for Sandy Nurse's to be a operations director at what is it? Mayday Space. They didn't even look. They didn't even open the. They didn't even open the email. That's funny. Anyway, so go ahead.
Did,
Write
they,
up
did,
Sandy
did you put
Nurse.
my name? Did you put? Do they know who you are?
Of course they do.
How?
I've been to their events and I've like been like protested and also the thing is that I went there to one of their events to petition for Diane Sayre. They didn't like that.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm here to support alternate candidates. You know what I mean? It's just for
Yeah. Yeah.
choice. It's just to get on the ballot. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not really. Anyways, yeah. So look, me and the Larouchians unfortunately have are not really. They decided to go with the Jimmy Dore crowd. So
Yeah, probably
that's
about the
really
money.
sad. No,
Success.
it's the access. It's the access, right? Yeah, they want the numbers. They got. They had actually something really going with Jackson Hinkle before. It seems to have
Yeah.
died off, and that's really sad because they had him at the youth leadership, and you can't deny it. So I have the footage, and
Hmm.
y'all painted him as a leader in your organization, and now you gotta live with it. So congratulations, y'all did it to yourselves. Anyways, yeah. So what about Sandy Nurse? I know that this is always an interesting story. She probably has done some good things. Yeah, I'm sorry to lead it off with my
Yeah.
own whining.
So
Yeah.
this is
All
how
right, go
this is
ahead.
going to dive in. This is how it's going to dive in the 43rd race.
What's
And
up?
what I saw yesterday, I was like, man, thank God I didn't make my opinion about this until I saw the fuck shit yesterday of what I attended.
Let's hear about this one. All right.
So basically, um, Sandy, Sandy's have a general election against this guy named Isaiah Vega.
Okay.
And so, Sandy's running the polls in Democratic primary because I think a lot of people see they can't beat her. Sandy is real, multidimensional with things. Her approach can be controversial, but she's real multidimensional with things. So it's hard to beat a person like that that's multidimensional in their electoral approach. So they couldn't face her in the Democratic primary. She was hard to beat. So now in the general election is this guy that's running in the Republican primary. That name is Isaiah Vega. He's running the Republican as a Republican, and then he's running on the medical freedom line. So recently, yesterday, and thank God, like I saw some shit yesterday, and I was like, you know what, like let me just like something went down, and I left, and I was like, yo, thank God I saw this shit because that's why I don't try to go hard for somebody for another person. I don't try like, oh, vote for this guy, vote, because you start seeing things and it's like it's not worth it, right? To go that approach. So recently, yesterday, there was like a little event that Isaiah invited me out to, and to be honest, with you, I had no intentions of going. I had no intentions of going. I was like, I didn't want to go because there was another event. Somebody asked me to go attend and go attend in the Bronx for 5 hours.
Okay.
And I was supposed to go up there, right? But he invited me out to go to his event in Brooklyn. It was in Bushwick, by Knickerbocker Avenue, right? By the train station, by Knickerbocker Avenue, by by the plaza, by Knickerbocker. So I didn't want to. Technically, I didn't want to go, but something said like, Chris, you gotta go. Like, just go. So I went anyway. So I had to not. I couldn't go to the event in the Bronx. As somebody told me, can you go out for me? But I started to go out for him, right?
Okay.
So I went out, got there a little early. We talked for 30 minutes, and I think you know how I do. I like to take pictures of people. Just him meeting people. So this lady came in. Her name is Nancy. Her name is Nancy Roden. Roden. I think she's part of the Brooklyn Conservative Party. So I took the photos of them like hugging and this and like that, and she flipped out. She got real upset about me taking the photos. I
Why?
was like, okay, whatever. Huh?
Why?
Don't do that because you can't be. You got to ask permission for that. I'm like, okay, whatever. At my house, like, okay, cool, okay, whatever. So, okay, fine. I was like, oh, she was like, I'm gonna take the photos. You don't take no photos. I'll take the photos. She said it in a nasty way. She said it in a disgusting way. I didn't. I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue. I didn't want to go. I was like, yo, don't talk to me like that. I didn't do it like that. So I sat down. Let me just chill out. Let me just do my thing. Just wait. And then she went and talked to people inside the office, the people that hosted the event. Then she went out and she had a conversation like, we don't want to take photos of the business because you can open them up. I'm like, okay, whatever. In my head, I'm like, well, what's the point of this guy running and what's if you want? And we had a conversation about, oh, we gotta raise some money and we gotta start get her start spending some money. So, but what they don't understand that the reason that this guy has a real chance in this race because of me. Sandy watches my shit because she thinks that I'm backing. I'm really engineering this guy because me and Sandy has a little thing going on. Like it's some personal shit, you know what I'm saying? But she watching my shit because of this guy, right? So what's the point of her trying to spend money? Of this girl, we got to get her to spend money where if nobody's knowing what the fuck you're doing and you don't want to pay them anyway, what's the point of really trying to electioneer? So I was like, all right, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna listen to her. I'm not gonna take any photos. I'm not going on a hot sun and just stand there like an idiot. So later on, while she was talking she think I didn't hear it, I like the eavesdrop. So I was right there listening to the conversation while I was on my phone, but I was my concentrate was listening to the conversation. So she was saying about like, because she saw the video of the situation where Jonathan, we'll get into after this situation, about Jonathan getting into it with what's her name, what's his name, Steve Spear. So she was like, oh well, don't go around those clubs. A lot of people in those clubs are fake, and there's a lot of. She was disparaging all the other clubs in Queens, all the other clubs in New York City. She was disparaging them, and I was like, yo, this is disgusting. I didn't want to say anything. In my head, I was like, yo, this is bullshit because I don't think she never met those people. Really, she just saw a video. She just saw a video, and she just saw a video, and she just wanted to judge based on video. And I'm like, well, I'm like, lady, you never met these people. Like, a number of people are real good people. They want the same things that you guys want, right? They want safer streets. They want these mandates to be repelled, and they want cleaner streets. They want the stuff to be stopped. They want the immigration crisis to be not like it is right now. So you never met these people. You just disparage everybody because what we saw in a live stream video, right? There's a lot of things you don't see in a live stream. The thing you see in purple, you see in live stream. So she got upset. She was saying, well, concentrate on your race, concentrate on the 37. Okay, fine. But the point when you get to government is that you got to be able to work with other people in your party. You got to be able to work with other people in the chambers. You got to be able to work with your coworkers because that's how you become an effective elected official. That's how. There's a difference of you able to secure 50 million for your district than you could secure 500,000 for your district, and that could be meaning that you be seen as an ineffective legislator. You can be voted out that next term because you're not bringing that money to your district. So I felt so disgusted, and thank God I saw the time. I felt so disgusted, and then somebody else sent me a tweet, not a tweet, like a direct message saying that there was an event happening in East New York, and I felt so disgusted. I said, hey man, I have to go. There's an event in East New York I gotta cover. And I had my excuse because somebody sent me a DM. The person that held the event sent me the direct message saying that she had an event. She ran for city council in the 42nd, but she decided to start doing for her district. Her name is Jamila Rose. And I mean, I just handled some of the thing that went on. I said, all right, I mean, I'm going to leave here now. It's the perfect time to leave this place and go to the other spot because the train was going to leave in like 5 minutes. So I'm going to get out of here, get on the train, Knickerbocker, and go to East New York. So I traveled. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I felt so disgusted, and I called and I was like, you know what? I can't stay with this stuff. So I mean, going forward, I might just stay neutral in that race. I might not even jump back in that race, 37th race. I might just let Sandy do what Sandy does, and I don't hate her. You know what I mean? Just I don't think she hates me. It's just like what happened with the Joanne Ariola race and Felicia Singh. She had it out against me because of that. So it just that's the thing between me and Sandy is just Joanne Ariola, where I helped Joanne win her race against her girl Felicia Singh in the 2021, and she had it out against me ever since because I cost her girl a race, and she wanted her girl to be in the city council chamber with her, and I stopped that. So she has that against me because of it, So.
Well,
Yeah, it's right. It's what it is. But yesterday, I just felt disgusted. I mean, I felt so disgusted.
when you say that she's multidimensional, what do you mean by that?
She know how to talk to people. She know how to talk to people. She gives people the proper respect.
So she can talk to a lot of people in different arenas. You mean?
Yeah.
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 But what are yeah, actually I do see that. Yeah, she actually does. She panders a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the chameleon. Yeah. And they do good, right? People like to see they like to hear what they like to hear, so that tends to do real well. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Y'all get what y'all deserve. Anyways,
Yep.
so what's this? I went to your Facebook, right, because I wanted to look up the things that you was talking about, right, because it sounded real interesting. Wasn't able to find it. By the way, might put a comments to some of those posts later. But right now, I see quite a few posts about rally to protect the McGuiness Boulevard redesign. I know you invited me to that. Sorry, man. I'm already like up to my gills, man. Yeah.
No. You're so it's okay. It's okay. Thursday's gonna be a big rally. I think.
But what is? And I have to admit another thing is that even though I used to be from Bay Ridge, right, and the Coney Islands, yo, that's all the way at the end. Okay, that's like that's a mission. All right, so I got other things going on. Like it's harder for me to make it out to those ones. But I'll give you props for making it all the way out there now. What's going on here at McGuiness though? What is this? I have not gotten to this one either. Oh my goodness, I can't hear you right now, Chris. Yeah, I think you're far away from the mic. Barely, yeah. Sound very quiet.
It's off.
Okay, now
you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. So McGuiness Boulevard is based in Greenpoint. It's in Greenpoint. You could take the G train to Nassau Avenue,
okay,
or Greenpoint, and you're already. So you take the G train or the N train, the G to Nassau Avenue or Greenpoint Avenue, and you're already near McGuiness Boulevard. McGuiness Boulevard is like a big street. It's a 2-lane. It's like 4-lane. It's like a 2-lane street. It's like a 2-lane big 2-lane place with a median.
Okay.
With a big median. So what's going on is transportation alternatives want that street to have a bike lane. They want to protect it. They want a bike lane on McGuiness Boulevard. And what's going on is but around there's a location called a Broadway Stages. Now, Broadway Stages basically do production for like Hollywood. They do production for like Hollywood, made in New York, like Moan. So the people that run Broadway Stages are big contributors to the Brooklyn Democratic Party, and they're big contributors to the Assembly member Rodney Bashar Hermlin's election campaigns. And there was a big contributor to that time Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams when he ran for mayor in 2021. Now he's the mayor of New York City. So the Argentinos, who are a politically connected, powerful donor family, they went against the project. They said this is not happening because this is going to mess up the trucks, because there are a lot of trucks that come and they got to spin around and they do a lot of production. And, they get the actors, they do a lot of things, right? You got to bring the trucks in, the bathroom trucks and the food trucks and a lot of those production trucks. Those trucks would be like big rigs. If you ever worked on a Hollywood set, I worked on a Hollywood set before. I worked a few times in production. So you start seeing the trucks are crazy, real crazy. And what happened is they went against it. They actually had like a meeting with the council member. It was a public meeting, but they went against the project. So Rodney Bashar Hermlin, who is, because she's the Democratic chair and she had to protect her donor, she wouldn't get the project. So there's a lot. So the mayor recently said, "Nah, screw you guys. We're going back. We got to go back to the drawing board, and we have to bring an alternative plan to this." So TransAlt they're real upset about how the mayor approached this situation. So they had a rally about it, and then now they're going to have a rally on Thursday. So that's what's going on.
Okay. I'm gonna get back to the McGuiness Boulevard thing, but talk about the mayor. How do you think the mayor's doing right now? You think he's gonna win the next election he's in, or you think that right now, I think that in some ways he's pissing off the party with his own stuff, and then in other ways, like I think that he's also has a lot of his own power. So I think he's also hard to beat.
I think he's he think like Adams is too early. It's 2023. Remember, we got 2 years left. Anything can happen in 2 years. I think it's too early to call for this right now, but I think Adams is in a big dilemma, right? Adams, he has to try to appease the people that got into political office. Yeah. What's going on is he did a lot of things getting to become mayor, and then when you start finding out when you get in the city, when you get in these offices, there's a lot of things you gotta appease to keep your job, and it's disgusting to do that. Real disgusting. You have to do this to keep your job. Real disgusting to keep your job. That's my thing. That's my issue.
He's bumping heads with Biden himself and stuff like that. So he's
and that's not why.
A lot on his
that's
plate.
not why. It's not wise, because what happened was with that was Adams spent a lot of money out of the budget for the migrants, and he expected Biden to cut that check and as like reimbursement. And then Biden team said, like, no, we're not cutting that check. Do not call us again about this. We're not cutting you $1 billion for the migrants, because we cut you guys $1 billion. All the other people call us for money. So they can't cut this guy $1 billion. That's why I think in Chicago they spent like $50 million on that. They didn't spend like $150 million or $1 billion. They spent like $50 million a month because of it. I think it's like $51 million. That's why in Chicago, the blacks in Chicago, they got upset at the mayor, the politician, because they're like, you spending millions of dollars on the migrants, we're not giving money to us.
The thing is that don't a lot of migrants end up becoming like right wingers?
Yeah. But what's going on with that, the situation is most of the time they're not going to vote right wing. They will never vote right wing. What's going on is this is the thing about Adams, and I want to talk about this right now. It's about non-citizen voting. Can I bring this up?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so what going forward with that, with non-citizen vote, because somebody called me and say, can you, and I made a thread about this recently on Twitter, this morning to be exact. Just put that in the title you get a chance, non-citizen voting, and I'm going to talk about this right now about non-citizen voting. Now, majority of the migrants that come over, they're Hispanic, right? Let's keep it 100%. They're Hispanic. The main core is Latino. They're Hispanic. Okay. You have some Somalians, you have some Muslims, but the main target of the migrant crisis are the Hispanics. They come from Guatemala, Ecuador, and they come to Mexico. And the main core is Hispanic, right? So that's what's going on. Now, with the non-citizen vote, this is the thing about people who talk about, oh, they're conservative, this is nothing. Because that was the case, the city have been Republican, especially in the 37th district, and the 34th district, and the 53rd Assembly District, and the 54th Assembly District, and the 7th Congressional District, because the 7th Congressional District is ran by, what's her name? Nini Velasquez. And we could talk about the 14th District run by AOC, the 30. It's a lot of districts that have a lot of Latinos, and they usually don't have papers, like legal papers. They're not supposed to be here. Because that was the case if they're right wingers or they vote right wing, this city be Republican. So, but what's going on with non-citizen voting is this is the best time they could capitalize on this for 2025, and this is why, and we could that people should go against this non-citizen voting, because if this happens and if Eric Adams don't appease people, he's going to get voted out. Now, what's going on is with non-citizen voting, basically that's what it is. They trying to put this law to where that people that can't vote because they're not citizens are able to vote in the city council races, the city elections for here on going forward. So if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can vote in the city elections, New York City based elections, not in the state assembly, not state senate, but on city council, public advocate, mayor, borough presidents, and controller, and etc. So what goes on with non-citizen voting, and people said this is the biggest sham for the progressives, and the progressives know that whoever that these organizations tell those guys and gals to vote for, they're going to get the big advantage in the races. Now, the main organization that's pushing this initiative is called the New York Immigration Coalition. That's ran by Murad Abwood. He's a Muslim guy. And the New York Immigration Coalition is a powerful nonprofit. They based in policy. They do a lot of policy, and they're the main.
Is that also with Dilip Nath?
No, I don't think so. Not Dilip Nath.
That's Dilip okay. Nath, they have a different immigrant thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Called NAB.
All right, cool. All right.
Yeah, Dilip Nath is
way different. What about Aaron Foldenauer? Isn't he also involved with some immigration stuff?
I don't think so. He's a lawyer. He's an election lawyer.
Yeah, but he does some immigration work as well. Or he's
yeah. Basically, yeah. So the NYIC, they run the non-citizen voting. They run that initiative for non-citizen voting. Now, this is what people don't understand, right? If this goes their way, whoever the NYIC tells the people to vote for, they're going to vote for them. Now, this could put a lot of elected officials in a lot of fear of the NYIC, because if they're in a district where they know that if they ran against a progressive, like a crazy progressive person, and they lost their race by like 2% or 3% or 5%. Now, if the non-citizens could take 10% of the vote, or 50% of that vote carry over 15 to 20% of the vote, and they come out and vote in that next election.
I also see a lot of Spanish people around Make the Road.
Yeah, that's another organization I want to talk about right now is Make the Road. There's a lot of organizations that's going to be behind this, and they're going to be helping engineering that non-citizen voting. Now, like I said before we get into that right now, if Make the Road, let's say if they carry 20% of the vote in a district, and NYC backs up that progressive over the incumbent because the incumbent don't want to do what NYC tells them to do, they could lose a job over that, especially if their people don't follow. So going forward about the Make the Road New York, they do a lot of advocacy, they do a lot of actions, they be at a lot of events, and they get their money that way. Now the NYC has a big thing. I mean, the Make the Road is part of this. They're gonna be a big part of that with the voting, with the electioneering of the non-citizens, Locamena, Worker Justice Project. They're the ones that run Los Librianistas, Nice for Workers, Abolish ICE New York, New Jersey, and Evision Freedom Fund. Basically, any organization that deal with immigration advocacy, they will have a big say of how those non-citizen voters vote for in those elections if this was to be in law.
That's definitely going down in the Asian community. That's what all that money's trying to go for. And you'll notice that also another interesting phenomenon. I'm not mad at Yiatin, but the fact of the matter is that she's actually she's not born here in the United States. And we can see that a lot of the people who come up are the people are more comfortable with someone who has an accent, someone who is Asian in the way that they understand what Asian means. So I don't want to take anything from Yiatin at all. I am supporting Yiatin. I think she's cool. I hope that she comes on for an interview. Not saying I'm 100% behind her. I really don't know everything about her yet, but she won the primary. She's a pioneer in Asian Americans. I want to know more. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. So going forward to that, people got to be against this. People talk about how Rebney is corrupt, and I think they are crooked. With the way they force elected officials to do certain things for them, and if they don't, they'll get the unions to run against them, like the carpenters, to go against them, and they can lose their job, just like Charles Barron, or mainly like what I said. Let me say my thread. I think I said Rebney, and let me see something. Gotta go on this thing. Rebney.
I think I read the article, and maybe you posted a link to an article where the thing is that people were complaining about. They said that because I think they were using Asians. They said Asian American seniors couldn't speak English, that they needed someone to go into the booth with them to help them to vote and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do that. They do that a lot.
Yeah. Was that part of the non-citizen voting? Was that something you posted?
No. Non-citizen voting is way different. Okay. So basically, non-citizen voting is like if you're not supposed to be here, you can vote in these elections. Now most of the time those guys go listen to the immigration-based nonprofit because they go to them for help. Now everybody knows that nonprofits can't electioneer, they cannot endorse candidates, but a lot of these nonprofits have actions. They'll call it actions, they'll call it funds, they'll call it the victory fund or PACs. But the PACs could endorse candidates. So if the PACs got the same email list or the same mailing list or if they got these meetings, they could come in as the PAC and say, here's a voter guide, guys, vote for these guys because they care about the immigrants. They care about you guys' rights. If you vote for these guys, they'll give you bigger cash assistance. They'll give you a bigger Section 8 package. They'll give you a bigger food stamp package. They'll give you every package you can. If you don't vote for them, they ain't gonna give you nothing. So those guys and gals that's non-citizens, they gonna believe what the nonprofit tells them. Now, it can happen to a lot of candidates that don't want to give. And usually, what happens with nonprofits like that is say, look, if you don't cut us this check, we're gonna run people against you. They blackmail these politicians. They blackmail elected officials. If you don't cut us this check on your discretionary money, or you don't want to jump and cut this check in that delegation, we're going to run people against you, and we're going to get you out the door. Now, like I said before, if you're an elected official, and you're running on that, and you won, the only reason you won because of a small margin, you're a vulnerable candidate. Michigan Democratic primary, and you're in a majority Democratic district, you're a vulnerable candidate. That's why this people should go against this stuff. People need to be going against it, because if this happens, you're going to start seeing the dirty side of NY, the real dirty side of NYC, and a lot of these nonprofits are going to suffer because they're going to be busy saying, "Now we got to cut the shit to NYC because I don't want to lose my job." Instead of you cutting that money to a basketball nonprofit, or you cutting that money to the community center, you got to give $100,000 to the NYIC because you don't want a primary.
Yeah, and
So
they'll
it's gonna be a
control
lot
the
of
center, and they'll control the jobs around it, and then they'll have more of a machine, and the machine will grow, and they'll take the money, and they'll give less and less back, and this is needs to be watched. Yeah.
so people got to watch the stuff. It's just like Brevny and Transportation Alternatives. They have their thing like, if you don't help us out, we're gonna run people against you. We're gonna vote you out. If this happens with the non-citizen voting, we're screwed. Your city's going to be way worse position than we are right now. Way worse position than we are right now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, right? Yeah. All right. So let's okay. So any other topics? Let me see the list over here. Oh, just so you know too. I think you told me about a bunch of these events. Looking at your stuff over here. You also went to this. You actually invited me to some Animatron Fest or something like that. And the thing is, Janice just messaged me. So actually, just so you know, folks, I have DGL7.com. I have my own website, and the thing is that on there I have an events calendar. I'm gonna start actually updating a lot more stuff with some upcoming maybe more links to like my live stuff, and also the events that Chris sends me. I just got a link for another. I just had a presidential candidate who just did a interview on my channel, Harshaw, and I just got a link to another one. His name is Robert Quigley. So I'm probably going to be having another presidential candidate interview soon. I can't be everywhere, but Christopher Leon Johnson actually. I call myself the New York City's #1 street activist. Christopher Leon Johnson is probably also number one in a different way.
Thank you, Mom.
Very, very. He gets around 100%. I can't deny it, man. You know what I mean? I gotta love the nonstop content. Yeah, it's very good. So if you want if you want the realist voices out here, if you want to really find out what's really going on from an activist perspective, when we're on the ground here in New York City versus someone who just sits in a studio, then you check it out right here. That's what's up. Go down to my featured channel section and find the links to Christopher Leon Johnson. He's right there. All right, so. Any other the event calendar is something I'm going to start updating a lot more, and also if you're watching and you are also an activist or candidate or whatever politically involved, send me emails of your upcoming events, and I'm going to update it to the calendar. All right.
About Antonio Khan. Yeah, I went there. I got there the last minute. I mean, I had a long day. I was so bored. I didn't want to be out in my house all day. So I saw it my thing. I was like, let me go out here and see what it's about. It wasn't that bad. I think I missed it. Like, it was about to be the last hour, so I got a taste of it. So it wasn't bad at all.
Cool.
At Tom. I love anime. I like my anime. I like the cosplay. I like the cosplay, the real cosplay. I mean, not the bullshit cosplay.
That's cool, man. Yeah, there is artistry to that. Yeah, like that's cool. All right, yeah. So, all right.
So recently, I mean, let me see what I did this week.
Have you ever done any? Have you ever gotten the costume?
No, I never did.
Yeah, that's cool. That's all right. Yeah. You can always get like a cool prop or something, though. You know what I mean? Like a cool glove or something, like those big anime ones. Yeah, maybe with like a huge something. Something.
Yeah. So. That. Well, yeah. Let's talk about. Two things to talk about before if we kill this off. Let's talk about UPS, and then let's talk about your health pass. Like your health, you're wearing your nurse's shirt. So let's talk about that, and we'll talk about UPS. Let's talk about UPS.
Yeah, let's talk about labor then. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you do actually dip into that stuff. So UPS. Now, you ever work with deliveries?
Never did.
Okay. So just so you know, the two major carriers before Amazon was around, right? You have Amazon and FedEx. Now I'm saying FedEx and UPS. Yes. So the thing is that the UPS, there's actually a known dichotomy, right? You have your someone who sends out the calls from the from like dispatch, right? And then you have the drivers. And the UPS drivers are known to be very well compensated, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But FedEx is actually known to be a little bit more better for the dispatchers, and the drivers have to actually hustle harder. That's just from my understanding.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
UPS, they basically a corporate. Like they basically everything is corporate. It's just it's all that under that one corporate umbrella. Now with UPS, it's like UPS, yeah, UPS ground, UPS overnight, UPS two-day air, UPS UPS freight, and everything like that. But everybody's under UPS. So UPS, you could do mainly with overnight and 2 day and ground. Is everything was on that one truck. But usually might be separate trucks, but you get it. It's not like it's like a special UPS overnight truck or UPS this truck. Only thing that's different is freight. Freight has their own truck because it's a freight truck. It may be some heavy stuff. You got to put in a freight truck. That's with the weight stuff. So, but they get benefits. UPS is under the union, Teamsters union. They get a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
But FedEx, the problem with FedEx is you're basically in a catch-22. Now, FedEx is FedEx. But the problem with FedEx is you have a thing called UPS Ground and you got a thing called FedEx Express, right? FedEx Express is basically FedEx Express work for FedEx. They under the FedEx Corporation. So if you work for FedEx Express, you basically work for FedEx, right? You get the benefits of FedEx, you get everything like that. Now, if you work for UPS Ground, you work for a contractor. Now, that could be kind of tricky because you got to buy a route. Like it could get real dicey with UPS Ground because I hear from a lot of people, even the owners, they say like the ones that run the contracts, like they have to meet a certain quota of deliveries at a certain time, and if they don't, they got to sell the contract. They have to sell the contract. So basically, if you're working for FedEx Ground, you're working for somebody else. You got to wear the uniform, but you work for somebody else. So UPS had way different benefits. I think that way better benefits than FedEx does because of the way the business model is, especially with employees, HR, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly, yeah. So if you were UPS, you were making like maybe 6 figures, but yeah, sometimes, yeah. But if you were FedEx, like you really it was grinding more. So that's a good understanding. So the thing is that the UPS, they're right now fighting for a contract, I guess, with their company. And the thing is that Amazon has really done a huge damage, I think, to their industry, just modeled in general. Yeah.
Because Amazon, because I think Amazon was their biggest client. They had a big relationship with Amazon, so I think Amazon like, well, fuck. Sorry about language. Forget these guys, and we're going to do our own thing. And I think you start seeing how Amazon has their own fleet. You look like UPS trucks. They got their own vans. They got vans. They got everything is Amazon. Before they have contractors like Lasership. They had Lasership.
Now there's
there's
other weird things going on though. Yeah, because the United States Postal Service system does actually use UPS for part of their routes. And UPS also used the U.S. postal system literally to do some of their transportation of a good portion of their goods.
Yeah, it's called UPS Mail Innovations. So basically, that's like a little contract they have with UPS and the post office. They do certain things. It's like sometimes UPS will drop things off to the post office, and the post office will handle it from there. And then sometimes the post office will give it to UPS, and they'll handle it from there. But usually, they main things with FedEx. I think with international shipping is FedEx, but when it comes to like domestic shipping, it's UPS, the post office. So it's just, the shipping industry is taking a big hit. To be honest with you, it's not taking because
it's not really so clear to like identify like which company is which company and when what I mean. Is it UPS or is it United States Postal Systems? Like, is it like are they together? Are they not together? Like, who's working for whom?
UPS is a corporation. FedEx is a corporation. Leadership is a corporation. Amazon is their own corporation. The post office is a government. It's funded by the government, but it's ran by some other. It's ran by some other entity. It's just like it's basically it's federal, but it's not that like federal. It's like quasi federal.
it's what it is with them. You know
You
what
know,
I'm saying?
another thing that I've been trying to work on, just so you know, before I actually met you, just about that time, you know, like how these one of the people that's really you see all the DSA people all there at the UPS thing, you know, all getting all worked up, right?
Hmm.
So, but the thing is that there's actually I have an interview on my channel with the only union president of the only unionized Chinese restaurant in all of New York City, but nobody ever talked about that. And the thing is that I brought this group called Breeze Team. I don't know if you've seen them on my channel, you know, doing the dancing and stuff. They tried to start a a union of street performers, right? Yeah, but and I asked DSA if they would help with that, right? Since they seem to be so union minded, they did not get back to me on that.
They won't.
Also, another thing is that recently at the Julie One rally, um, you know, like the guy, right? I appreciate John Cho, right, for doing the interview. There was another guy there from DSA, and he's trying to start a union of campaign workers. And I've reached out to him, right, several times or tried to, and there has been no response yet, really, or there's no way for me. I haven't really heard back yet. So these people, they're starting these unions, these labor leaders, but some labor gets covered, like the Amazon one, like that Chris Smalls guy. Like you and me met him in person. He was cool. But
Yeah.
you know, around him there's an entourage that is using him for their own reasons,
Oh yeah,
and
they are.
keeps yeah. And the thing is that it gets and some causes gets covered and some causes don't, and they deliberately do this, and it's really it's a problem.
Oh, by the way, July 11th, I think that's on Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a cookout. I'm going there. We should go, DJ, if you have the chance. I think it's from 2 to 5 in Staten Island
Okay.
at JFK. There's gonna be a barbecue hosted by Chris Balls and A. I think everybody's going. I'm going there. I got a trek.
They have good
I know
food. The last one was banging.
we're going. We should go
I'm
there. I
going.
think we should go there and
I'm
cover
down
it.
for the cookout.
We're going. I'll shoot you the. I'll shoot you it to DM. I saw a Chris Ball page. Let me go now. Let me go now and do it before we. I. Yeah, let me do that now because I'm going. I gotta leave
Yeah.
my house by 12 or
So
11:30.
because Amazon has the name recognition, because UPS has the name recognition, that's why these DSA cats showing up. But as in
Yeah.
terms of like actually helping you as a worker, right, within their own right, how are their own workers treated at DSA? By the way, I want to know, right? Yeah, how right? Yeah. So there needs to be more of an examination of not just the surface level of like you know, I get UPS is a name brand that everybody knows, and they're using labor dispute there to really try to you know, and I'm for helping them. You know, like if UPS drivers, by the way, are actually quite powerful, and they have are some of the best compensated in the industry.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah. So the thing is that you have to see that some people are getting help and some people don't. And what you guys
Hmm.
need to really start asking yourself once again, people are right. They make Chris Smalls into a great big deal, and you know why that's actually and love out to Chris Smalls, but here's the problem. Okay,
Hmm.
is your Amazon actually you know driver himself, right? What about the Amazon driver that you actually that's actually delivering packages to you? Are they in the union? Ask them. Ask
Yeah.
them. Yeah, I bet you they're not. So stop it. Stop celebrating and wake up to the reality, dude. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Yeah, for real. Anyways, sorry to get preachy. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel about it. So much love
Yeah.
out to Chris Smalls. Let's hang out with this guy again. But you know, there's people around you, man, and you need to wake them up, Chris. That's just what I'm saying, man. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck,
Chris is a
man.
good guy.
You're a good
Yeah, they
guy.
are.
Yeah, that's a tough. It's not fair to you to handle that weight, man. I feel bad. Like you didn't. You're just a regular guy, man, who tried to just.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
using him because they see the attention. He's a good guy. He had it's just he's doing the
I
organization
get it.
right.
I get
He
it.
started for the bus stop. He wasn't playing around. He started for the bus stop. He started for the bus stop, and now he's where he at right now because he didn't give up.
Good.
He didn't give up. He didn't sell out his team. He didn't take the money. He didn't say, "Yo, this ain't gonna work out. We got a bus stop. I'm
Hey, man.
stopping."
Good luck. Yeah.
You know,
Be
and
careful
it
around
paid
them.
off.
Careful around them Cuban people and them PSL people, man. That's all I'm saying, though. Be careful around that, Chris. Other than that, man, I got love for you, bro. I mean, like, not really, you know, not all them people went to Cuba
I
was bad,
sent
but
you.
Not
By the
really.
way, check
Yeah.
your Instagram DM. Check your Instagram DM. I sent you Chris's Smalls' uh tweet. I mean his post. Tuesday we're gonna be there. Two
You know what?
thirty
I'm
from
gonna
2 to 6.
actually invite my man Reverend Keith Gads and Nolan Farrell over there. So we're gonna go. I
Hell
might
yeah.
I might be doing a thing out in Pennsylvania as well too. Yeah, yo, this is gonna be banging. Hell yeah, let's do this. Yeah,
I'm going through for that. I'll make a show on the 11th. I'm going through for that because
this will be on
that's
the
gonna be
DJL7 event calendar as well as a whole bunch of. I'm gonna start updating everything. There's other events that I've already uploaded, such as one that we're going to in Philly, Pennsylvania. Yes, I'm going on the road, and that should be cool. I'm gonna hang out with Vincent Moto, the first man who was out on DNA evidence. And maybe I'll bring on Chris Leon Johnson. Maybe you should come with us, man. We should go to Philly, man. It's not that far away. Pennsylvania's a very high-impact electoral state, and if working with key allies, right? Yeah. Maybe even presidential candidates, blah, blah, blah. You know, we have the opportunity to affect the narrative and to bring attention to some of the things that we're actually addressing out here that they're not.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to drop on the audience before... you know.
Let's talk your health past.
Oh,
the
this
the
thing?
nurses. Yeah.
Oh man, well nurses. Okay, it's okay. So, just to let y'all know, not only am I actually I worked as a medical scribe and I did this in actually hospital, multiple emergency rooms. I also did it in actually multiple doctors' offices, and what else? So the thing is that I saw a lot of things in the industry that were disturbing. Not only did I work in this range, I also worked for a law firm that did protected. I went to go to doctor's visits to observe for patients that were being inspected by the insurance company's doctors to make sure that there wasn't anything funny going on. So within the medical industry, there's a lot of hierarchy. There's a lot of disturbing things going on with the drug companies. For example, a lot of people have heard about continuing education credits, right, for doctors that they need to take these classes. This is true in a lot of industries nowadays, right? Like I think security guards also need to take continuing education classes, correct, Chris? Are you there? Hello?
Yeah. You have to. Yeah, of course.
So the thing is, yeah, the continuing education credits. So the thing is that those are really commercials given by the drug industry. That's just a fact. So, you know, there's also just the way, like when you go to a store, when you go to a restaurant like Pizza Hut, right? They only sell Coke and not Pepsi because, you know, it's owned by the same organization. This also happens with some of the drugs that you have in your hospitals. You can actually ask about this. So this is just real. So sometimes people are asking for a certain brand of medication. It's just they have to take something else because there's just been a prearranged agreement made by, you know, some industry cats that just don't tell you about these things. So a lot of these unfortunate nurses are also complicit in what's going on, and it's unfortunate. So I respect some of the work that they do, but there's also a lot of covering up that's going on in the industry. That's just what I have to say about that. So my support for the nurses, right? I was actually at a rally that they were, you know, I was working to put together these different, you know, groups, and SCIU, which also the nurses are also associated with, is very, very powerful, and I think they get a lot of concessions. Actually, I don't think they're really actually, you know, I know that there's some issues around some of their like working, like, you know, like the way that they have to do the hours and stuff, but I think they're quite well compensated. And I think that there needs to be a shake-up of integrity in that whole system for real. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just my criticism of the medical industry in general. Go ahead. Yeah.
Before we end this, let's talk about the new your issue with New League Dems. You want to talk about that? Liberty, talk about that? Sure.
Oh well, okay. So well, yeah. I mean, Nurses Association. I mean, anything you want to say about the organization though?
The nurses, I think they're not bad at all. I mean, I cover the events a lot. There's certain times they don't post the events. I think it's for a reason because I don't think they want people to find out what they're doing. Okay. But you know, I don't think they're. I know we'll dive into them.
Do they have a good relationship with SEIU?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So they're basically like they're almost together, right?
yeah, they work. I don't think they. I think they under something else, but I think they work with CIR, the residential doctors. But you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. So sometimes good, sometimes not so good, right? Yeah. So there's nothing's perfect. So I can
Mhm.
support some of the things they do. You know what I mean? And just generally in labor, I do support, right? Yeah. So shout out to the Nurse Association. I know they've been around for a long time and they are strong. They actually have a lot of funds. They're one of the most wealth. They're one of the most well. They're one of the more wealthy. Not-for-profit groups. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, like you always see them have like a lot of stuff. Like they have a lot of giveaways. They always have a lot. Yeah,
yeah.
their members are always looking really nice. So it is what it is. That's cool in a way. But
Hmm.
yeah, they're very well. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
cheering for the ones that already kind of have some. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
I ain't mad at that,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're already winning. So all right, so the New Leaf Dems look. So look, I know you do a lot of work with the New Leaf Dems and props. Some of them I've worked with, right? Like Paperboy Prince, Theo Dremel, blah blah blah, and I that the thing is that, right? Are they willing to call out, right? I've been contacting them from the beginning, and the people that I've worked with, I know they're hungry, right? Yeah, for the communities that I work with, people with
Hmm.
disabilities, people in public housing, they want that credibility. They want people to, and you know what? It doesn't. I'm not a gatekeeper, so the fact of the matter is that if y'all get involved with their issues the way that I do, right, you will have the credibility. But the fact of the matter is that, like, for going on 2 years now, right, I've been trying to get this issue of Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell addressed. And the New Leaf Democrats, right, even though I have history with the Yang Gang and all that, and I've been reaching out to them, and there's video of me together, they're, it seems like they're scared to come on my channel to talk about the truth of these situations. And, how can I trust them to be any better than what they're trying to replace?
Hmm.
That's just what I
Yeah.
say about New Leaf Dems. So, I know you actually have been doing work with them. And I got a lot of love for your work, just straight up, man. I can't deny your insight and you're a hard worker too. Hey, I mentioned this to you before the show, right? Look, New Leaf Dems, Chris is actually very. Anybody who works with him will realize, right, what they have, or they should realize what they have on their hands. Now, I know New Leaf Dems have worked with Paget, right? Yeah. Once again, Cheng Jewel, I think she's cool and all that, right? But why are
Hmm.
the people? Why is someone like Christopher Leon Johnson, right, not brought up by your system or ever talked about? Um, y'all have your debates, right? Candidate debates. You have someone who's very hardworking. What about him? So I know y'all really love your celebrities. You love the people who have the titles already, but there's people who put in real work, like even just Christopher Leon Johnson, right? Like y'all should be bringing him up within your media chain, right? Like I know y'all denied that to me. Okay, so what's your take on that, Chris?
Yeah, I totally understand. I think they have a direction with their organization. I don't really try to beg for the attention, but I totally get. I appreciate your help, bro. I really appreciate you looking out for me with that. But I
It's not
don't
even just you.
really.
Like anybody else who was thinking about joining, they gotta look at that and be like, is
True.
that's who's coming up and why, right? Yeah,
Oh,
and how is right? Yeah, and how does that serve my interests and needs? Like,
yeah,
you know,
you're right. Totally
because
correct.
yeah, they won't have the same perspective and positions as you do. So on their own,
Mhm.
they just gotta right. Yeah, I know I got left behind. So maybe it's just because of the way I look. Maybe it's because of the way I carry myself. Maybe blah blah blah. Right? Yeah. But Chris too. Like, who's their priorities? Like, and when are they gonna? Or also, they can't address the right. How have they helped in public housing? Anything? Right? Like
Yeah.
the Chelsea thing. They could have showed up. Where
Hmm.
are they? Right? Yeah. Like, so they talk about UBI, Universal Basic Income, and they say they want to help us, and then we get to know them after a couple of years, like yourself, right? Yeah, and we get to see right their level of commitment. You get to see you don't just know that from someone. Someone could say such a rousing speech, right? Yeah, but over time you
Yeah.
get to see the reality of where their real values are and who they are, and
Hmm.
New Leaf Democrats, I got a lot of questions, straight up, and y'all still quiet. Like, what's up? Like, that's all I have to
Hmm.
say about that. So
Yeah.
that's but Chris, I got love for you, and thanks for coming on my show again. For, out of the newly Dems, you like the best representative to me. So
Thank you.
if you're working with them, then there's always a chance for a better tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as
brother.
you start from somewhere. So,
Yeah.
what was that guy's name again? The white guy with the curly hair, the tall guy.
Oh, Clark.
Clark. Yeah. He was working with a lot of maybe he has a desire for a future, and I've seen your type in DSA, and I'm not mad at that, right? You have some political ambition, stuff like that, right? Yeah. You're just learning. You're trying to, get ahead, using any means possible. Just, honestly, a lot of these organizations come and go, and in the end, people like myself will remain after 10, 20 years. You just might as well treat the people right, and the organizations, right? They will come and go. So,
Yeah.
treat the people right. Chris is going to be here 20 years from now, right? Yeah. This candidate, that candidate went and faded. Dukakis, right? Jesse Jackson went and faded, right? They're gone now, right? Yeah. But Christopher Leon Johnson's still here. I'm still going to be here, man. So, Clark. So, Clark, man, come on the show, man, when you're ready, yeah? And just, look, in the end, we're still going to maybe you're going to move on past us. We're going to see, yeah? And we'll see after you go up, you come back down to us. So we'll see you when you get back. Either way, yeah? I will still be here. That's all I got to say to with Dems, and I'm hope we hang out soon, yeah? Oh, I do want to ask you another thing, yeah? You've been doing that community board stuff. I've been slacking on that. I've just been too busy, but community boards, that's inspirational. What's going on with the community board right now?
Well, basically, it's basic stuff. I mean, we just started a new term. Just basic stuff, developments, rezoning, applications, and stuff like that. That's basically community boards you do.
Community board also signs off on a lot of grant proposals, right? Yeah, that's kind of like what's her name? Yeah, they're actually an integral part of assigning a lot of that money, right? Yeah, so that's a real some ball and moves right there, and a point of access. I need to do that myself. I once again, real G's, man. Okay.
I think you should apply for community board. You should apply for your community board. You put part community board 4.
I'm going to, but I just been I need to. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm gonna do that today. Yeah, look, that's your friends should be. Yeah.
Because Jennifer, you back Jennifer. Over Paperboy, so you have a chance.
Yeah, I like Jennifer. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I want to meet her. Yeah, look, she's been
by the
busy.
way, they disrespected. They disrespected Street Film. Disrespected Jennifer Gutierrez. I mean, they gotta cut out a check. They owe her money because they, what they did. They put he apologized, but it's just wrong. Like, how you gonna confuse Kristen Gonzalez with Jennifer Gutierrez? It's on Street Films. I'll shoot you the link. You'll see one. I'll shoot you the link right now for your Instagram. Street Films. They covered the McGuiness Blvd, and he confused Kristen Gonzalez, who's the state senator. She covers Greenpoint, Brooklyn. She covers Astoria, Queens, and she covers Kips Bay, Manhattan. So she covers 3 boroughs with Jennifer Gutierrez. So that was real crazy. How you confuse Kristen and Jennifer?
Gonzalez knows I was at the Mickey Khan's fundraiser, busting that up, and when her people were falsely accused, she has said nothing about my issue. And I'm sorry to say, Kristen, it's real disappointing. But whatever, okay, because y'all embarrassed about DSA's position on stuff.
Thursday or the 13th, she's going to be there. Everybody's going to be.
That's hilarious. Oh, my God.
Hey, 6 o'clock. So you should come to Transalt. There's going to be a big rally, 6 o'clock.
Oh, my God.
6 o'clock, Thursday the 13th, from 6 to 7:30. Everybody's going to be there.
Time off and focus on my funds right now. Yeah, I'm not funded, so I need to focus on
the money.
Hustling. Yeah, even this, right? Yeah, I should be out hustling. Anyway, I'm going to though. So I might make it out to some things. I'm definitely going to have to eat at these places because it costs money to eat. So I'm going to some of these fucking events to eat up and these cookouts and shit. Definitely going to happen. But other than that, really, I can't. I got to take a break, man. I spend a lot of my resources chasing down these rabbit holes. So got to re-up for the next war. Yeah. My man. So, but you're an inspiration, man. I know you're gonna keep going, and as long as you can keep it going, and then when you take a break, we'll see where I am. Yeah, but I'm a warrior, man. I've been doing this for years. I do this because I love this. Yeah, I can't not do this. So, All right. Anything else, really?
Nothing else, bro. But thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. It's gotta.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
exciting things coming up that will be on the event calendar. I'm a little burnt out. Go ahead.
we
What's that?
talked about we talked about New Leaf. We talked about uh
Yeah, we're still
non
live. Yeah.
we talked about a lot of things. I'm like, basically,
Well, yeah.
this Thursday, McGuiness moving. Basically, there was other things that happened this week. I don't think there was nothing like anti-violence rallies, whatever with that. July 4th, we had a July 4th, McGuiness, not Mc, the Iowa Democratic Club, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Convention of States also they got the they're also doing some work on the streets. They're starting to canvass directly, so I'm starting to see those things getting cooked up. I think that also they have another meeting for the Blvd people. So I have other meetings and stuff like going on in the background. We're gonna see how that cooks up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Post primary general stuff. Yiatin, hopefully she comes on for an interview. That would be cool. Video Labella, maybe I'll go get at his people if Yiatin's people don't hit me back. Yeah. Asian Wave Alliance. Lester Chang. Well, that's all got to happen. Yeah. It's we're crossing paths again, so we really appreciate that. Yeah. And the Dominican thing. Yeah, I am crossing paths with a lot of Dominicans in this game. I hope that one day, what's her name, Amanda Septimo? You know anything about Septimo?
Yeah, she got in. She's part of Rob's Democratic Party.
You think
She's good.
Yeah, is she associated in any way with this Carlina Rivera or these other cats?
I don't know. I really don't know about that.
It's all good.
But I heard she helped out the Safe Sector 9 people when she got on the bus and stuff like that and food.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, if you look at her, the way that she came up in her old videos, it seems to be seems authentic, right? It seems pretty cool. So we'll see. But she's also being quiet now. I think she's also being trained to be scared or something. So
she's part of the Bronx Democratic machine. The Bronx is real. The Bronx is a real corrupt borough.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I almost got into a situation with somebody out there in the Bronx because they had a nerve to be disrespectful to me. It was just recently at an anti-violence rally. I didn't want to be public with, but I'll say right now, I don't care because, it's just what it is because they're not going to disrespect me.
That was on the bridge, right? When you knocked the phone out your hand?
No, not the bridge. It was something at the park. It was recently at the park. Okay. What happened was it was an anti-violence rally, and I don't care. I told them I don't give a fuck. It was right in front of the Bronx DA and the Bronx person. I said I don't care they did. I'll stomp you down. I don't care they did because you don't respect me because you got mad at me because I recorded him and him. It just whatever. I was like, well, it's America's a free country, and then he called me a BAN. So I was like, well, this is it. You said it on camera, and then he had a nerve to come at me, and I was like, I said, I'm not your coworkers. It was one of those Cure Bonds organizations. He was the road manager to Fat Joe. His name is some guy. He's the road manager to Fat Joe, Gilly, and I was like, yo, you're not gonna talk to me like the coworkers.
One day I'd like to actually do a specialty show with you to really do a deep dive into your, because I know this is a personal passion of yours, these cure violence orgs, and really break down what is going on. You know what I mean? Just really deep dive into it.
Real corrupt organizations.
Interesting.
They just take government money. I mean, just like other before they just take government money. They only report 10% of the money and 10% of the money, and that's it. 10% of the money, and that's it. So just just a lot of electioneering that goes on, and they're big proponents of defunding the police. I know I'm against defunding the police. I know you're against defunding the police, but basically defunding the police is basically what you do is basically you take money out of the police department because they apolitical. They have to be apolitical, and you give that money to political organizations, basically like the Cure Violence organizations. That's basically what defund the police is. You take money from a political organization and you give it to an organization that's going to get you reelected and elected to office. It's basically what it is. They don't care about public safety. They just care about trying to keep themselves to political power. That's all it's about.
I think what the police really need is, I think the police need an image overhaul. The thing is that they've been beat up so much image-wise. There are good cops out there. Everybody has good days and bad days.
Yeah,
sometimes, right? Sometimes even I myself have done bad things. I'm not really proud of it, right? Yeah. So everybody is right? Yeah, even cops, right, will have an off day, which is right. Unfortunately, right, has some consequences that needs to be corrected for, or but so let's I think that right, rather than talking about defunding the police and always really there's the industry that's trying to take the money that the police have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones who are funding this
Nonprofit.
message. Yeah, and also like the medical industry is also interested, and that's
The
another part
hospitals.
of the that's another part of this thing, right? Yeah, the nurse. I'm telling you straight up, it's very concerning, and I would be, doctors and nurses. They don't really stand up to the ones who get to move up are the ones who don't stand up against the industry. People who do stand up against the things going on are moved out.
Yeah, it's true. Real true.
And I'll tell you, let me tell you some of the things that you know, okay, so like you, I know you give blood regularly, but have you gone to like a doctor like for a doctor's visit?
Not in a long time, but I gotta go.
Okay. Well, the thing is that they usually like nowadays your visits are usually like with the doctor actually 10 minutes. They come in, right? Yeah, blah 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 blah, and then they leave. They literally talk fast. I've been in many doctors' offices and the hospitals. They have to talk fast because they have to relay that information. They have to run out and hit the next patient. Otherwise, they don't meet their production goals. Straight up. And another thing that you'll notice, right, is the thing is that I'll tell you how patients get inferior care, and the nurses know about this, but they don't really talk about it because they don't want to endanger their job or their earnings. You notice that when the doctor looks at your chart, right, they immediately say what you have. They immediately give you a diagnosis. They don't say, "Oh, you know what? Let me go back and check. Let me look at this list over here." They don't really do that. You notice that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's because first of all, right, they're not really given the time to do that. Number one. Number two, right, it looks bad, right? So the thing is that because I was a medical scribe, I would start to look this stuff up, and I actually would be like, oh, what about this other diagnosis? And then I actually caused that unit, right, to start to have the physician's assistants. They would start looking up stuff. You know what I mean? Like when someone had a diagnosis, right? Just to refresh, just to make sure, right? Yeah, and maybe it was a off possible diagnosis, but better to be sure, right? Yeah, and to renew that knowledge rather than try to show off and really succumb to industry standards which are endangering patients. And we can see the medical outcomes in this country are the lowest in any developed nation. Needs to be reviewed. This is a real problem, right? Yeah. So y'all are out there calling for your own pay. Okay, but why are you still the nurses of the least productive? It's not good. Yeah, so that needs to be addressed. Yeah. So hopefully, I'm not for defunding the police, but I am for greater accountability, and I do hope that we could have a civilian review board, which really starts to hold accountable, and we can make cops heroes again, right? They're when something scary is going on outside, you want to have someone to call. You don't want me showing up because I might start a fight. You know what I mean? You want to have someone to that's not a bad thing. So yeah. All right. So we'll be moving up the I will be starting to move forward on the CRB. I did actually get a in-person agreement with Marte to work on that particular issue. So we'll see if we can actually get him to change his tune on defunding the police to holding police accountable. Yeah. I think the political climate is changing, and I think maybe he could be a reasonable guy. We'll see if we can change some other ones too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man. Anything else?
Nothing else at all, man. I mean, basically, nothing really at all. Just like I said, about that's what it is. I'm saying.
All right. Looking forward to this next coming week, man. All right. God bless. All right.
All right, take care, brother.
Thank you. Peace.
Take care.